Uniting for Suicide Postvention logo appears on screen.
When you ask people, when's the last time you felt really connected to someone, it usually isn't times they were talking about sports or the weather. It's times they were connecting around how they hurt or how they're struggling.
Text on screen, Fostering a Community. Jeffrey P. Smith, clinical psychologist.
Having a place where you feel safe, where there's a space where it's okay to talk about difficult feelings, can be like a holding environment, can help people feel supported and like they have a level of trust and that they belong to something. In my experience, when someone has really been there for me and I felt freed up to express the full, breadth of my emotional experience, it's tremendously comforting to know that that was okay and that was accepted. And so facilitating that sense of community can prevent future suicides by giving people more of a sense of belonging and identity.
Text on screen, Supporting employees after a suicide.
For some people, they may need a little bit of support, few words of encouragement and normalizing, and for others, it may require referrals to additional support and checking back in and giving leave time and those sorts of things. And so it's a really tricky thing to say, okay, these things really work and we're pretty sure this stuff is helpful, and each incident will be different and have its own circumstances. So it requires people to use a guide as well as think on their feet and consider each incident as unique in its own right. Bringing together people that have shared the relationship with the lost person is really useful for remembering the best in that person, but also for connecting those folks together as a community to persevere and to find ways to honor that person's memory. And so this can be really uncomfortable for supervisors to embrace, and so it requires some emotional willingness. It requires some leaning into the discomfort to acknowledge that this problem is real and that we can all benefit from learning more skills around it.
Text on screen, Utilizing a plan and a team.
For me as a supervisor, one thing that's so critical about having a plan or a checklist is not because I'm going to hold that checklist in my hand, and tick them off as I go through, but so that I can remember to cover all my bases, so that I can feel like I've done as inclusive a job as possible of making the appropriate referrals and saying the things to normalize the experience. Not only does it reduce my own tension and anxiety, but it reassures me that I've done the things that are the best practices, the things that are recommended, and the things that have been shown to be helpful. So what we're talking about today is not just having a plan for a supervisor to know what to say, but the idea that we could have teams of dedicated professionals to wrap around the experiencers and provide them support.
It is important to have a suicide postvention plan to help take care of employees if a suicide should ever touch your workplace. The Workplace section of Uniting for Suicide Postvention provides information on the steps a workplace can take to support employees after a suicide loss. Please visit USPV today for support and to learn more about healing after suicide.
Please visit www.myrick.va.gov/VISN19/postvention.